Hey now, this is Anthony with A&A, and I'll be bringing you a lawn care story. Uh, I'm gonna make a playlist for all these stories. Be a separate playlist for cop stories, another one for mobile car wash stories, and another one for lawn care stories. So this is the first one for lawn care stories, and my first one for mobile car wash stories was yesterday. Okay, so let's get into it. It's 2013, the end of 2013. I want to say maybe like mid-August. I'm on my way home from cutting yards, and as I'm pulling in my driveway, I see a black BMW pulls up and slows down at my driveway. So, of course, I'm looking to see who it is. I'm like, man, do I know this person? And as I'm getting out of my truck, he's letting down his window. It's like, hey man, can you cut my yard? And I'm like, I said, well, I'm done for the day. And it's like, for you guys that are in lawn care, like when you get done and in your mind you tell yourself you're finished and someone comes, and sometimes it's hard to, it's just hard to want to work once you done told yourself you're done for the day, or you think you're done for the day. So I told myself, I was gonna say no, but I told myself, you know what? Let me check him out, because this is a possible client. So I said, well, let me take a look at it first. So he said, all right. So actually, I hop in the car with him. He takes me around to his house. It was like, I mean, if you stand on top of my house, you can see his house. That's how close he is. So we get there. I look at the yard. I told him, hey, yeah, I can handle it. And I told him it'd be about $40. Easy yard, no obstacles. It's been maintained, so it's not gonna take me long to do it. So he drops me back off. I get in my truck. I go back over there. I knock out the yard, do a good job, get my money, and he said he wants me to take care of his yard from now on. I'm like, cool. So, come home, that's the end of that day. And I did take care of his yard for the rest of that season. It was like maybe 2 months. So the next season, I'm cutting his yard again. And one day, I want to say maybe I think it was the first cut of the season. I show up early. And his wife is pulling out the driveway. I guess she's about to go to work. So she says to me, you sure you're at the right house? I'm like, yes ma'am, I'm at the right house. And she was like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm positive. I said, I cut this yard, I was cutting this yard towards the end of last year. I want to say maybe like around August is when I started. And she was like, well, it's this other guy that cuts our yard. I said, well, that's a possibility, but I know I've been cutting it since August. And she was like, okay. And I was like, well, is your husband named such and such? And she was like, yeah. I said, okay, I'm at the right house. She was like, okay, all right. So she leaves. No big deal. Okay. So then weeks and weeks and weeks pass by. Same season though, and I come to her house. Now, this is when the season is about to slow down. Like, it's getting later in the season, and your daylight starts to shorten just by a little bit. It's not daylight savings times now, but it's getting there. So, instead of, it usually gets dark around 8, it starts getting dark around 7, or 6:30. So, I get to her house probably around 6:15. And I had a busy day the next day, and I had a busy day that day, but I was like, if I could just take care of this yard, I didn't want to add that yard to the next day. So I get there, and I'm rushing through the yard trying to hurry up and cut it before it gets dark. So it starts getting dark. And I'm still weeding. I haven't even got a lawnmower yet. So she comes outside and she looks at me and she said, "We'll see you tomorrow." And I'm thinking that she means that she'll see me tomorrow to pay me, And I'm like, okay. So, I'm just oblivious to what she's talking about. So I'm still working. She comes back out again. "We'll see you tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, you want me to leave?" And she was like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And, I felt I was a little salty about it, but at the same time, I could understand because it was getting dark and, people don't want people in their backyard in the dark. I get it. So I said, "Cool." So I got my, got my weed eater, threw it on the back of the truck, went home. So the next morning I come up there, I come back, I finish up. No big deal. I thought nothing else about it. I just said I won't be doing that again. I won't be showing up late or dark with that again, or anybody else's yard rather. So then I come back again. I say maybe a few weeks has passed. I come back. It's maybe around 4, 3 o'clock. It's not gonna be dark for hours. So I get there. I'm working. Weed eat the front. I'm in the back. We eat the back. When I get in the back, I notice she had clothes. Well, I don't know who had. I assume it was her, the wife, but it could have been the kids. I don't know. But there were clothes laid out in the yard, in the grass. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking maybe it was a fight and they threw all the clothes outside, or I didn't know what was going on. So, but I'm here to work. So I, carefully start picking up all the clothes and trying to put the clothes in the, put the clothes on the, like on the patio furniture. I'm just trying to get it out the way so the clothes won't get dirty or run over them. So she comes outside and she goes, you don't just come in people's backyard. You need to knock before you come back here. I didn't know you was back here. I didn't know you was coming today. And my kids are running around talking about this some strange man in the backyard, and I was about to call the police, and I looked back there and I saw that it was you, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I get it, but at the same time, that is some bullshit. First of all, you've seen me several times. You invited me in your house before. Another thing is, if someone's going to do something to you, they're not going to start weed eating in your backyard. I mean, I've weed eated like half her backyard before she came out. So, I mean, obviously you saw me working, so you were like, okay, that's the lawn guy. If you see me before, you know who I am. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I am so done doing this yard. I will not be coming back. And so she was like, I said, "Ma'am, like, all my clients, I just tell them what day I'm coming. I don't tell them what time I'm coming because it's hard to keep a time frame because you never know what may happen. Lawnmower may break down. Weed eater may break. You may get backed up on one yard, or you may have to do an extra job on a yard. So it's going to be hard for me to text you every time and tell you what time I'm coming, then get there and knock on the door." I said, everything is about timing. And she was like, "Oh, well, my kids are very protective of their mother," and blah, blah. I'm like, man, these kids were young. Like, both of them at the time, like, they was under 4 or 5 years old. They were young. So I don't know how they can be protective of their mother. So I'm like, okay. And, I was about to call the police and all this and that. So now at this point, I'm feeling in danger because, I may go back there one day and she may shoot me and say she don't know who I am. So I was just like, you know what? I won't be coming back. She was like, no, you can continue. So I just got my stuff, put it in my truck, and I left. I didn't blow the driveway off. I didn't clean up nothing. I left the yard just like that. I was gone. So her husband called me, and and this guy is a big guy. He's like what is he, about 6'3", 6'4"? He's a big guy. 300 pounds at least. I know he is. He's a big guy. So at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to have no problems with this guy. That was my main reason for doing it, because I don't know what she'll go back and say to him, and I just didn't want to have any problems. So he called me and he was like, hey, you know what's going on? I said, man, I don't know what's going on, but I showed up to cut your yard like we agreed, and I said the first time, okay, it was dark. I took that one. This time, I don't know what's going on. She said that I should knock before I come in. He said, oh man, don't worry about it. She just mad at me, man. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, look, man, I don't feel comfortable coming over there. If you want me to continue cutting your yard, you're gonna have to be there, or y'all gonna have to work something out, because I can't. I said, I can't keep having run-ins with your wife. That's just not cool. I don't want to have no problems with you. I don't want to have no problems with the police. I just want to cut grass, man. It's not even a big deal. And so I did not go back. I didn't go back. And this was towards like maybe close to, it wasn't, what was it, the end of the season? It was like maybe August or September. It was close to the end of the season. So I didn't go back. And she calls me, a few weeks go by, she calls me and she's apologizing. She told me she was just mad at her husband and, this and that. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I picked up more clients. I said, maybe we can start back next year fresh. I said, but I'm booked up for this year. And so she was like, okay, I understand. And that was the end of that. And actually, I still cut the yard to this year. And I haven't had any more problems out of that situation, but that situation scared me, man, because I thought that, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't want to go back there and something happened to me, because the husband and wife is bickering. I didn't know what was going on, but hey, it is what it is. It's the price of doing business. I see you guys in the future.